Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown, the game that is set to become one of the best sellers of the franchise, has brought with it a group of new players excited to experience the action-packed gameplay of sort of unrealistic dogfights. However, many of these nuggets find the story to be confusing at best. Well, they're not necessarily wrong. Ace Combat has a very unique way of storytelling, which can even be a mess for veterans of the series. So, I've taken upon myself, a completely certified expert on everything Ace Combat, to explain this very complex plot in a simplified manner, while giving you the very exclusive knowledge of someone that has played some of the previous games. I promise I can make sense of it, okay? You'll see. At the end of this, you'll even be able to reflect on the very philosophical topic that underlines the entire story. Got your interest? Good. I just hope this isn't too much information. In a world where wars between nations seem as common as going to the grocery store, 2019 marks the start of yet another one in the continent of Uzia, the Lightohouse War. Uzia is no stranger to conflict. 16 years before, the Continental War put the Federal Republic of Erusia against an alliance of all other Usian nations. Things didn't end up so good for the Erusians, as God on Earth, Ace Pilot Mobius I, decimated them single-handedly, making me question the need to form an alliance in the first place. After the war, Hiroshi became a kingdom and asked for help to rebuild. Turns out an asteroid disaster and 2 years of all-out war put you in kind of a tough spot. Did I mention there were asteroids falling at some point? Almighty Ozia came to the rescue, with President Vincent Harling offering to build a giant space elevator that would provide energy to all of Uzia, and help fill the void in his heart left by a space bird that would eventually rest in the bottom of the ocean. But peace couldn't last for long, as one day Hiroshi decided to attack Ozia directly with their autonomous drones, seize the space elevator and the 2 drone carriers designed to protect it, and officially declare war on the Ozian Federation. Why, you ask? Well, they suspected that the reason the Ozians helped them was so that they could gain control over the Ozian continent, and since believing in a conspiracy theory is a lot easier than talking about your problems, bada bing bada boom, they're now at war. At the same time the war broke out, Avro Meade has just finished a project of rebuilding a starfighter from scratch, except the plane doesn't have any sort of weapons or even an IFF. In normal circumstances, this wouldn't be much of an issue, but this is Ace Combat, so of course that she's flying right when the war starts and gets mistakenly shot down by a Ozian fighter. She gets a bum leg for her troubles and is sent to jail on the 444th Airbase, where she's meant to make repairs on Ozian aircraft. Fighting in this war is a rookie pilot, call sign Trigger, part of Mage Squadron stationed at Fort Gray's Island. As part of the initial assault, the Erusians sent a bunch of bombers to get rid of the base, but Trigger managed to destroy the entire squadron of them by himself, effectively becoming an ace pilot at that point. Despite that, Knocker, which is Golem Squadron's flight lead, still thinks he has a lot to learn. I mean, I understand not getting cocky and the complexities of military hierarchies, but come on. What are you on about? Next sortie doesn't add much. There's some drones and the cargo plane goes big boom. It's more premonition than anything, really. Welcome to the jungle, a place where Mage Squadron will show that they can get
wet wild and do dirty, dirty things.
One of the drone carriers, known as an Arsenal bird, shows up and Trigger is forced to take on its load of drones. Things are going okay until Brownie, which goes great with vanilla ice cream and is a part of Golem Squadron, is killed by a mysterious Erusian ace pilot. He turns out to be this really old guy named Mihai, Dumitru, Margareta, Corneliu, Leopold, Blanca, Carol, Aeon, Ignatius, Raphael, Maria, Nikitas, A. Shilaji. I'm not kidding. When he was young, he was the heir to the Grand Duchy of Shilaji, which I guess explains the ridiculously long name. However, revolution broke out and he ended up being betrayed by a close friend, who shot him right in the face. The revolution worked out, but the resulting country was annexed by the Kingdom of Erusia, so that went as expected. Mihai joined the Erusian Air Force and became an ace pilot, despite the fact that the Erusians allowed him and his family to essentially still be royalty, which is kind of nice, all things considered. During the Lightohouse War, Mihai lives in test sites in Erusia with his 2 granddaughters, while being analyzed by this creepy dude, Dr. Schroeder, who is using his flight data to develop the goddamn autonomous drones. The older girl is a friend of Rosa Cassette Delis, Princess of Erusia and owner of the most memeable dog in all of Strangereal, who comes to visit every now and then, despite the fact that she probably has other things to do since, you know, our country is at war. Breaking news. In a shocking turn of events, it seems that former Ozian President Vincent Harling was inspecting the International Space Elevator when the war broke out, and is now stuck inside with Colonel Johnson. Apparently, Trigger did enough on 3 sorties to not be considered a rookie anymore, since he spearheads the rescue operation. The Lighthouse is a bit of a shy boy and doesn't like to be disturbed, so it set up a complex radar network around it that lets it destroy any aircraft that try to say hello. Trigger dodges the radars like in a Matrix, except much less exciting, and takes out the anti-air weapons. Backup arrives with the helicopter to take the former president out, so the Lighthouse launches some drones. Trigger takes down the drones, but things escalate, with Johnson and Harling forced to accept a ridiculous, albeit nostalgic call sign and fly away to safety. More drones show up, starting to see a pattern here, but oh no, the craft is hit and Johnson is killed. Harling takes the controls, I think, and turns that plane around towards the elevator. His reason for it becoming an important plot point later on. Trigger tries to defend Harling from all these goddamn drones, but it's all in vain, as an erosion drone using O's in IFF fires at the aircraft, killing Harling on the spot. Because Trigger was the closest, that is seen as irrefutable proof that he did it, so he's accused of being Harling's murderer. What? I'm sure Lady Justice is ready to stab someone with that sword if that's what's enough to convict someone in this place. So, Trigger is sent to prison at Airbase 444 in Southeast Uzia. The commander of the base, Colonel McKinsey, has the genius idea of making a penal unit squadron comprised entirely of inmates, which becomes known as Spare Squadron. There's a liar, a conspiracist, a gambler, a chump, an anarchist, and a murderer. Allegedly. In the unit, each prisoner is given sin lines that represent the severity of the crime committed. Trigger gets 3 lines, the most out of anyone, since he killed Harling. Allegedly. They get sent in all sorts of crazy missions, like defending an airbase without ammunition.
Damn, you're good.
Fighting drones with an A10, because we all thought it was just gonna be an air-to-ground mission.
Spare 15 is cleaning up, 10 drops down.
Flying through canyons in the middle of a thunderstorm with a special appearance of Mihai, aka Mr. X.
It's Mr. X for sure.
Racing a sandstorm to destroy oil tanks.
An SF2 entering AO in 3 minutes.
That's a nice spot for a submarine. And traversing mountains below inexistent cloud cover. The members get killed in progressively more complex ways. The first one by drones,
I've got a bet on me getting out of this.
the second by the Erusianese, and the third by friendly fire.
Why is this?
After a brilliant plan executed by the guard dog of the unit that ended up going absolutely nowhere.
You did that on purpose, man dog.
After all of that, Ozzy says, "Hey, you guys are pretty cool actually. You're an official squadron now. Let's just forget about your crimes, yeah?" So most of the remaining penal unit is sent over to Tyler Island to capture the airbase there, while Trigger and Count escort the commander to another country with a name I can't seem to pronounce. Bulgardarest. Bulgardarest. Yeah, I got it. I think. But oh no, a drone shows up. Never mind, it's gone. Turns out that was a special drone, since it could float in place and was more annoying to take down. So that allows the liar and the murderer, actually people are starting to think he didn't do it, to join a different Ozian unit, the LRSSG. Trigger doesn't want to forget all the great time spent with Bandog, so he customizes the 3 sin lines to make it look like a claw and becomes known as 3 Strikes. The Ozian higher-ups thought that was pretty neato and so made him flight lead of Strider Squadron. Count didn't do something cool with the sin lines, so he splits as number 2 of Cyclops Squadron instead. Looming in the distance, however, are unimaginable threats, the likes of which Strangereel has never seen. Actually, that's not entirely true, is it? One is just a throwback to 95, another has literally already been used before, and the others are just upgraded versions of stuff destroyed in a previous war. Well, there's a crazy submarine captain, so that's something.
Salvation!
Anyway, will Trigger be spectacular as Strider 1? Will Count continue to be in his groove? Find out next time on TMI. Look, this would really be too much information if I did it all in one sitting, okay? I'll see you next week.